As we express our gratitude, we must never forget that the highest appreciation is not to utter words, but to live by them. Change is the law of life, and those who look only to the past or present are certain to miss the future. Victory has 1,000 fathers, but defeat is an orphan. Efforts and courage are not enough without purpose and direction. History is a relentless master. It has no present, only the past rushing into the future. To try to hold fast is to be swept aside. Things do not happen. Things are made to happen. Let us not seek the Republican answer or the Democratic answer, but the right answer. Let us not seek to fix the blame for the past. Let us accept our own responsibility for the future. There are risks and costs to action, but they are far less than the long-range risks of comfortable inaction. Forgive your enemies, but never forget their names. We are tied to the ocean, and when we go back to the sea, whether it is to sail or to watch, we are going back from whence we came. Physical fitness is not only one of the most important keys to a healthy body, it is the basis of dynamic and creative intellectual activity. The great enemy of the truth is very often not the lie, deliberate, contrived, and dishonest, but the myth, persistent, persuasive, and unrealistic. Leadership and learning are indispensable to each other. The cost of freedom is always high, but Americans have always paid it, and one path we shall never choose, and that is the path of surrender or submission. Those who make peaceful revolution impossible will make violent revolution inevitable. The time to repair the roof is when the sun is shining. Let us never negotiate out of fear, but let us never fear to negotiate. The ignorance of one voter in a democracy impairs the security of all. Let every nation know, whether it wishes us well or ill, that we shall pay any price, bear any burden, meet any hardship, support any friend, oppose any foe to assure the survival and the success of liberty. Geography has made us neighbors. History has made us friends. Economics has made us partners, and necessity has made us allies. Those whom God has so joined together, let no man put asunder. My fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. A man does what he must in spite of personal consequences, in spite of obstacles and dangers and pressures, and that is the basis of all human morality. Conformity is the jailer of freedom and the enemy of growth. Our most basic common link is that we all inhabit this planet. We all breathe the same air, we all cherish our children's future, and we are all mortal. Those who dare to fail miserably can achieve greatly. A nation that is afraid to let its people judge the truth and falsehood in an open market is a nation that is afraid of its people. Too often we enjoy the comfort of opinion without the discomfort of thought. Our growing softness, our increasing lack of physical fitness is a menace to our security. The greater our knowledge increases, the more our ignorance unfolds. A man may die, nations may rise and fall, but an idea lives on. Washington is a city of southern efficiency and northern charm. The goal of education is the advancement of knowledge and the dissemination of truth. Our problems are man-made, therefore they may be solved by man, and man can be as big as he wants. No problem of human destiny is beyond human beings. I think this is the most extraordinary collection of talent, of human knowledge that has ever been gathered at the White House, with the possible exception of when Thomas Jefferson dined alone. When power leads man toward arrogance, poetry reminds him of his limitations. When power narrows the area of man's concern, poetry reminds him of the richness and diversity of existence. When power corrupts, poetry cleanses. For in the final analysis, our most basic common link is that we all inhabit this small planet. We all breathe the same air. We all cherish our children's futures, and we are all mortal. Man is still the most extraordinary computer of all. I am the man who accompanied Jacqueline Kennedy to Paris, and I have enjoyed it. In the long history of the world, only a few generations have been granted the role of defending freedom in its hour of maximum danger. I do not shrink from this responsibility. I welcome it. Tolerance implies no lack of commitment to one's own beliefs. Rather, it condemns the oppression or persecution of others. For time and the world do not stand still. Change is the law of life, and those who look only to the past or the present are certain to miss the future. Mothers all want their sons to grow up to be president, but they don't want them to become politicians in the process. Peace is a daily, a weekly, a monthly process, gradually changing opinions, slowly eroding old barriers, quietly building new structures. We are not here to curse the darkness, but to light the candle that can guide us through that darkness to a safe and sane future. It is an unfortunate fact that we can secure peace only by preparing for war. Mankind must put an end to war before war puts an end to mankind. We would like to live as we once lived, but history will not permit it. When written in Chinese, the word crisis is composed of two characters. One represents danger, and the other represents opportunity. We must use time as a tool, not as a couch. We stand today on edge of a new frontier, the frontier of the 1960s, a frontier of unknown opportunities and perils, a frontier of unfulfilled hopes and threats. The world is very different now, for man holds in his mortal hands the power to abolish all forms of human poverty and all forms of human life. Domestic policy can only defeat us. Foreign policy can kill us. Our progress as a nation can be no swifter than our progress in education. The human mind is our fundamental resource. If a free society cannot help the many who are poor, it cannot save the few who are rich. Communism has never come to power in a country that was not disrupted by war or corruption, or both. If anyone is crazy enough to want to kill a president of the United States, he can do it. All he must be prepared to do is give his life for the presidents. I just received the following wire from my generous daddy. Dear Jack, don't buy a single vote more than is necessary. I'll be damned if I'm going to pay for a landslide. Let both sides seek to invoke the wonders of science instead of its terrors. Together let us explore the stars, conquer the deserts, eradicate disease, tap the ocean depths, and encourage the arts and commerce. If we cannot now end our differences, at least we can help make the world safe for diversity. Israel was not created in order to disappear. Israel will endure and flourish. It is the child of hope and the home of the brave. It can neither be broken by adversity nor demoralized by success. It carries the shield of democracy and it honors the sword of freedom. The best road to progress is freedom's road. Once you say you're going to settle for second, that's what happens to you in life. A child miseducated is a child lost. Let the word go forth from this time and place to friend and foe alike that the torch has been passed to a new generation of Americans born in this century, tempered by war, disciplined by a hard and bitter peace. The very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society, and we are as a people inherently and historically opposed to secret societies, to secret oaths, and to secret proceedings. There is always inequality in life. Some men are killed in a war, and some men are wounded, and some men never leave the country. Life is and fair. Politics is like football. If you see daylight go through the hole, we have the power to make this the best generation of mankind in the history of the world, or to make it the last. America has tossed its cap over the wall of space. Now we have a problem in making our power credible, and Vietnam is the place. The courage of life is often a less dramatic spectacle than the courage of a final moment, but it is no less a magnificent mixture of triumph and tragedy. It might be said now that I have the best of both worlds, a Harvard education and a Yale degree. The problems of the world cannot possibly be solved by skeptics or cynics whose horizons are limited by the obvious realities. We need men who can dream of things that never were. To state the facts frankly is not to despair the future nor indict the past. The prudent here takes careful inventory of his legacies and gives a faithful accounting to those whom he owes an obligation of trust. In a time of domestic crisis, men of goodwill and generosity should be able to unite regardless of party or politics. The tax on capital gains directly affects investment decisions, the mobility and flow of risk capital, the ease or difficulty experienced by new ventures in obtaining capital, and thereby the strength and potential for growth in the economy. Thanks for watching.